lot of logs coming up.
Alright, welcome to Hardcore Enduro, where it's all about getting out and riding the hard stuff. I'm George, the guy behind the bars and the voice behind the mic, and today we're just having some fun at the river by my house. We're trying to burn in a little enduro course here with a bunch of logs. We're trying to get some log training in today. So I'm just trying to pick the hardest route I can through the river here and all the dead trees and fallen trees. And so you got all kinds of different ways to get over logs. You know, you never know what you're going to expect on the course. There's just as many different random ways you can get over a log. That's what I'm looking for here. Making it really hard for myself. And Case, he's behind me and it's going to wear him out. Like, this is not any hills, nothing crazy. It's just logs, and logs will kill you. You know, you can really waste a lot of energy trying to get over any kind of log, even a small one that just slides on your tire. It can just wear you out trying to get over it. So at our level, you know, I'm not the greatest on the balance and clutch control and all that. So for me, it's practicing what I can do at my level to figure out how I can get a log over a log with the least amount of energy. So that's what I'm doing here. We got a really big log here. This is a no run up, so it's just a left pivot, and I'm gonna pick it up from the back, and I kind of just wag it, you know, just like walk it on the skid plate, and try and keep it balanced up there. Keep it up so I'm not wasting energy trying to deadlift the bike up or have it crash down on me. So I'm getting better about that. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big log, and trying to make the bike do most of the work. Here's a little set of, like, it's a triple, so you gotta pop off the first one and get it over, and I'll get better at this. Eventually I'll be able to just clear the whole thing. Right now I'm just gonna pop it off that first log, get the front tires as far forward as I can. I guess that was just a double. There was 3 logs on the other side, but
That's a good one.
that's good training right there. You know, you're gonna run into obstacles like that. I mean, just trail riding, and especially on a hard enduro style race, they'll throw in stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. Just a ton of logs. I'm getting really good. Anything about mid-size or below, I really don't have a problem getting over anymore. Like there, I'm throwing in just an angle, like if he came in at an angle. Here's a nasty little section here, this fallen tree. It's got a bunch of branches there, you gotta negotiate and get around. And everything's really slick. I mean, it had just rained, it's just very slick. But I'm doing pretty good, you know, it's negotiating through here with using not that much energy. I'm going to pivot around here and get a look at Case coming through the logs. He needs to work on his log game, you know. I'd say that's his weakest part, is going through logs. I think a lot of people, their weakness is any kind of log section, you know, climbs and, you know, technical stuff, rock gardens. It's the logs can be really tough to get through if you don't practice on them. So here he goes. He's struggling to get through these little log sections. eating the palm tree. So here comes a really big log here. This one I'm gonna pop the front end up, give it a little bit more gas, and then throw my weight forward, and that makes the bike go over the top of it, and I get over pretty easily.
That's a big
Case,
log there. Big boy.
He's not going to get any tire pop here in the front end, and he's just going to dart right into it. It's a pretty big fallen tree there, so he's really got to pop that front up a little bit more. Gets it up there, but he's not carrying enough momentum. and bringing his body weight forward to help that bike go over the top. A little bit better. In case he's really good at wheeling, so he can stand on a seat and hold the wheelie forever. Here I go again. He's got to carry a lot more momentum that time, and the bike just kind of sails right over the top. That's what you want. But it's a case, you know, it's a head game. You know, it's confidence. 'Cause he can wheelie really good now. He can ride a wheelie forever. He's standing on a seat wheeling. He's even jumping, doing jumps, standing on his seat into a wheelie. So I tell him, you know, you have no problem wheeling. You need to be able to do that when you want to do it, you know. And that's what the tree or a rock obstacle or some kind of face, you got to be able to pop that front tire and plant the tire where you want it to go. If it needs to go like 2/3 up the obstacle or just go all the way over the top. So this is really good training for that. So you can see if you don't clear the log, your back tire just gets no traction on logs. I think that's what makes logs so tough, is that if they're wet or slick, there's just no traction. Whereas a rock, sometimes rocks, you know, they'll bite into the tire will bite into it, but the tree bark, it's slick like ice, you know, the tire won't grab nothing, and then you're just pushing as hard as you can to get the bike through. So there's a raised branch about a foot off the ground, the branch about a foot thick. So I'm going to pop the front tire in, and then I'm going to use the clutch, keep pressure, and I'm going to lift the front end as I get the back tire as close as I can, and I just pop it. So there you go. And it gets close, and then I push my weight forward so that the bike is able to just rolls right over that branch. Hope that made sense. I'm having a lot of fun. This is actually a really good course, you know, for practicing crossing logs. It's legit. Like, I'm feeling pretty good. Case is getting wore out. I mean, we have not a hill climb, nothing crazy, just some logs, and he's huffing and puffing, and I'm feeling pretty good. Here, this section here. So they got these little branches up here. They're only about 4 inches thick, but they're wet and they're angled and they're off the ground, and so they're just causing all kinds of problems for me. And they're separated, so your back tire and your front tire are almost hitting at the same time. So I'm sure most of you have been in this type of situation where you got the front tire and the back tire hitting at the same time on the face of rocks or on the branches or logs or something like that. And you really got to be aggressive here. You got to get that front tire up. So you almost have to do just a complete wheelie. So look at Case. This is that tiny little branch. It just stops you cold. So here I just got to be aggressive and really pop that front end up. There you go. Get that front end. That allows the front tire then to clear, doesn't get caught up, and then I put a lot of pressure on the rear tire to get a lot of traction, so that was good. Of course, staying on the bike would have been better. We'll get there. Not right now though, but one day. It's got this really tall grass through here, and the tall grass just grabs your tire. It makes it really hard to steer. There's a bunch of fallen wood, dead wood here. Just going through. Here's a good little tight section I found. This is gonna be a good course. It's all burnt in, and I got a lot more practice. We're gonna be able to go through here pretty quick. It's gonna be pretty fun. This will be like the baseline run. So a couple months when we burnt this in and had a lot of practice, we'll see how fast we go through compared to today.
done.
Can't wait for the day where we're just on the pegs the whole time, man. Popping it over all these logs. So not only do you got to practice logs with run up, you got to practice logs with no run up. You just like, you're right there, and you got to be able to. A lot of times you just, you don't have any run up to it. You just got a couple feet, and you got to get over that log. So it's, like I said, it's just great practice. So it's a pretty big log right here. Do get a decent run up here. Now I'm not doing it as clean, so I do put my feet out. Give me another month. I mean, give me some practice. Be able to keep my feet on the pegs. Be able to clear these logs cleanly. That's the goal here. It's a perfect example of a tiny little branch that can just come out of nowhere and just stop me cold in my tracks. It's only like 3 inches in diameter, but it's wet, and it is just as slippery as you can get. And I wasn't even thinking that would be a big deal, but it turned into one. It took me a while to get over this darn branch here. Back tire just not getting any traction, so I'm trying to back up to get some little momentum to be able to bump it over it.
Yeah, it's like ice right there. Woo.
So little things like that, God, they just make you work a little hard. Come out of nowhere and stop me. So as I pick this route, I'm just going, I'm not making it easy for myself. So I'm just plowing through, trailblazing. It was rough the first time. Like I said, this is my, I think my 4th time going through. So I am starting to break off some of the branches here, but that first time, it was pretty rough getting through this. But it's getting better now. Alright, little technique. When you got those stubborn roots, branches where the back end's just not getting traction, is you can just drag it over it. So I've seen that done where you, instead of just fighting it and fighting it and fighting it, just pick your bike up and move it a little bit. It makes it a lot easier. Yeah, I remember this part. So I get the front end up and I'm just going to zap it. I'm just going to hit the throttle, and the log rolls on me. It rolls on me and I lose my balance and just fall right into this brush. Oh, I'm glad I'm out of that. All that stuff was going down my neck into my jersey. It was just a nasty mess. Casey's not going to do much better. He's going to have to plow through it himself. So we got to drop down into the river at this point. In the summer, this will be all full of water, so this option won't be here. We'll have to, it gets really overgrown. I'll have to bring some little clippers or branch cutters that I can cut a little path through the side there, because this won't be available when the water gets up. But one cool thing, I mean, it was good training. Coming out of the riverbed there, you got a real steep incline. It's got a couple of little lips of where the watermark is, and you got to just kind of send it up there to get high enough where you get past to clear all that stuff. see how Case does. He just doesn't quite get up high enough. You know, it's not a big climb, but you still got to get up that steep face of it. So he doesn't get up there. He's got to push his bike, and then he hits his head on that branch right there. But you know, those little things, all that extra energy you got to expend to get through an obstacle, it adds up, you know. So we come back into the river bottom here, and a couple of beavers that live in the river, and you can see where they're dragging stuff up to the little burrows up there, and then they'll collect all the sticks and branches. They make their little dens. These beavers. Alright, so we're getting back up into the tall grass. So the tall grass is hiding the little lips where the water bank is. So here you can see that little step up. Here it is. It just makes it a little tricky, not being able to see the ground. And then there's still some logs in here, so you gotta be careful until we get the course kind of burned in good. You gotta be careful not to run into a stick or a stump or a log that's gonna toss you. Yeah, I sound really bad. I keep replaying what I've recorded. My voice is just horrible. That's how it is. Alright, we're keeping it hardcore here. I'm not letting myself have a break. Zigging zagging through the trees here. This is a really hard part right here. You got this branch. It's pretty high. It's about 2 feet off the ground here. And it's about like 1.5 foot thick branch. So this is a tough one. So I gotta throw that into the course. So I gotta get the front end up. I'm gonna compress the front suspension and just give it a little pop, just like I do in my pivot turns. Get the front end up there, and because it's so high off the ground, you know, it makes it at a really steep angle. So I'm not able to give it a little bump and get my front weight over the front to carry it over. So I'm standing now. I'm going to stand off the bike. It's almost straight up and down. I get it all the way as close as I can, and then I push and throw the weight of the bike over. So now the bike is crested over the branch, and instead of just throwing it, you know, the races, you know, a lot of people just throw the bike over. It'll land at a weird angle and be really hard and awkward to pick up. So I'm still trying to keep it balanced. That way I'm not expending any more energy than I need to. Yeah, the light push, just a light release the clutch there. The tire goes over the branch. So got over. Really didn't use that much energy, so I was pretty happy how that came out. Coming up here is another little log to cross, and it's got this branch overhanging, so I can't stand up because I'd smack my head on that branch. So if the branch wasn't there, I could just pop it over that pretty easy, but because I got to duck my head down, then I got to get over it that way. You know, like I said, I was trying to every different kind of log crossing I could find. I was throwing it in here. Right here you got a little hidden branch under the grass that it's just sliding on me and not letting me get a clear path to the bigger log right here. So every time I go, it just moves my back end over, so I'm losing my balance. But I was able to get it over finally. It was a lot of work. Right about here would be the turnaround point, but we're going to drop down into the river bottom again, and there's a little area we're going to go get some practice in and out of the bank of the river here. It's got some pretty good steep faces, little ledges, and just a kind of a good little practice session just on the other side of this bridge here. Normally this would all be underwater, so this is kind of cool that we're able to ride here right now. When I was little, we used to water ski. We'd water ski through the bridge right there. Just pull the guy on the rope, do a U-turn, and go back upriver. Right here, so you got these little banks, and it's got these just sheer wall faces. That's good practice. You got, you know, 2-3 feet face you got to get over. There's an old boat right here, just abandoned. It's stuck in the mud. I don't know how long that's been there. It doesn't look like the motors anything's working on it. It looks like they're just floating on it like a rowboat or something like that. Anyways, this part of the river's all low. We're just going to use it to play around in. There's a couple good sections that are actually pretty good for training on, you know, where the water's lapped out the bank and it's just eating out, creates this little face. And it's pretty steep, so it's good practice going over the top of it. Just doing a send-off. You know, there's a couple times we were riding in St. George where there's a couple ledges that you just had to jump off, and it's just a little bit of confidence still. You just need to have the confidence to send the bike over the ledge. So that's what I'm practicing here, just sending the bike over the ledge. It's only about a 4 or 5 foot drop, so not too bad. So Casey's gonna send it off. It's not, doesn't look like much, but it's good practice, good training to mentally be able to just send it off a ledge and expect a 3, 4, even a 5 foot drop on the other side. Here at the other side, again, we're just practicing going up these really steep. It sticks out, you know, that little lip sticks out. We're able to just go up it. It's good. It is all good practice. You know, sometimes it's not doesn't always get out to the trails. I'm not always riding the epic single track with mountains and snow in the background, all that kind of thing. Sometimes you just gotta do some training here at the house, you know, wherever I can. And this stuff just helps you out when you're out doing it on the side of the mountain somewhere. This bank right here has a pretty steep little face to it, and it's got a little bit of a kicker at the bottom. You can see where that the sand sticks out a little bit in the mud, and then it's got that little gap, and then it's got, you know, that about a 2.5 foot just face on it. It's real steep. Yeah, and there's another. You know, this is a good obstacle to clear. You'd see this probably in Grinding Stone or something like that we're going to come up to. There's a lot of stuff like that when we're up at Wonder Valley or the Sand Hollow. All those rocks at the top, they have a lot of those little lips that stick out where you got to just send it. So, it's my first attempt at it. Come in a little slow, don't give enough gas, and do a backflip. Alright, let's try that again. I'm going to give it a little bit more gas at the top there. Coming a little bit more hot.
I would have cleared it.
Alright, let's try it again. I'm going to come in a little faster, a little more gas. Boom, bike gets up. No problem. Should have done that the first time, Georgie.
Got her.
Alright, Case's going to do it, so let's see how he does. And you can see how vertical it is. The bike here, it's almost straight up and down.
Good lip.
So there comes Case. He's going to do the same little hill. You just see how vertical the bike gets. He really is doing good. It gets really high right over the handlebars there. That's good for him. His foot comes off the peg, it looks like there. He lands on. Needs to keep his foot on, maybe clamp down, you know, squeeze the bike with his legs a little bit there so you don't lose your foot off the peg. But he got it done. You know, that first time, it's always the scariest. Once you get it that first time, it just gets easier and easier. So it's just kind of getting that confidence to know you can do it, the bike can do it, and now you can start working on technique once you get it done. So there you go, another try at it. Yeah, it's getting pretty easy now. Here comes Case, he's going to hit it again. Boom, keeps his foot on the peg, much better that time. I just got a little jump there, it's kind of fun. Still like I love jumps, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big jump guy, but I like getting some air when I can. Watch Case here, he's getting fancy. He's trying to jump, land on his stand on his seat when he lands into a wheelie. So he's getting really good with those wheelies. I just gotta get him to be able to do that when it counts, like on foot of a log or a rock or something like that. So we'll keep working at it. Alright, that's gonna wrap up this video. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, sometimes you just gotta put in some homework and practice and work on some skills at home. You can't always get out and ride an epic single track every day. When the weather clears up, I'm looking forward to it, especially getting over this cold I have. But I'm really looking forward to getting out and riding again. We got some races coming up, so I've been looking forward to race season starting again. And hopefully I'll be doing a lot better. Anyways, till next video, get out and ride and get some.